Hey there, AI and LLM enthusiasts. Welcome back to the Employee Factory. Today, we're tackling a massive decision for anyone building a knowledge graph: VectorDB versus GraphDB. Are you accidentally building your AI's knowledge base with the completely wrong database? Let's dive in and find out exactly what happens when you misalign your data architecture, and more importantly, how to get it right.
Here's our game plan. We'll break down the knowledge graph dilemma, figure out what these databases actually are, why your choice matters so much, who they're built for, and how you can practically choose and use them before we get to the final verdict. All right, part 1, the knowledge graph dilemma, choosing the right foundation. So picture this. You've got, say, 500 gigabytes of complex company documents, employee handbooks, product specs, legal agreements, the whole shebang. Now you're tasked with building an AI assistant to actually query all that. If you try relying on old school SQL keyword matching, man, your AI is going to be incredibly confused. If you're dealing with slow query times, massive memory usage, or just flat-out data inconsistencies, you might have chosen an architecture that fundamentally misunderstands how your data connects. Which brings us to part 2. What are they? Semantics versus relationships. Let's kick things off with vector DBs. This approach completely shifts the paradigm. A vector database uses vector embeddings to basically turn human language into giant lists of numbers. It maps out text so that words with similar meanings, like holiday and vacation, end up mathematically super close to each other in what we call meaning space. So even if two words share literally 0 letters, a vector embedding just knows they're conceptually, say, 87% similar. You aren't searching by exact keyword matches anymore, you're searching by actual meaning. A GraphDB, on the other hand, it completely ignores that semantic space. Instead, it uses a web of nodes and edges to explicitly map out relationships. It's almost like a giant game of connect the dots. Think of a node as an entity, like a person, maybe Keanu Reeves, or a movie, like The Matrix. The edge is the explicit, drawn line between them that says, acted in. You are physically connecting the dots of your data. So here is the absolutely crucial difference. A vector DB bridges the gap between how we as humans ask questions and how computers store concepts. It's all about semantic similarity. A GraphDB, though, is purpose-built to effortlessly glide through complex webs of interconnected data. It makes multi-hop relationships an absolute breeze. Moving on to Section 3, why the database choice matters and the very real cost of getting it wrong. This is exactly where traditional keyword logic just falls flat on its face. Imagine an employee asks an old SQL database, "Hey, what are the clothing rules?" It returns a flat 0% success rate. Nothing. Why? Well, because the actual policy document says dress code, not clothing. SQL completely misses that semantic link, a link that a vector DB would have caught in a millisecond. But hey, the penalty goes the other way too. If you try forcing a relational database or even a simple vector DB to handle deeply connected structural data, you are going to have a bad time. You'll end up running heavy, insanely expensive SQL joins across tables just to find really simple relationship chains. It absolutely cripples your performance and leads to entirely broken traversals. To put that into perspective, imagine asking your database to find all movies where an actor has worked with the director of The Matrix. If you asked a relational database that, it would be a total nightmare of complex joins. But in a GraphDB, blazingly fast. It just hops from the Keanu Reeves node, travels right down the acted-in edge to The Matrix, and follows the directed-by edge straight to Lana Wachowski. It uses those pre-established connections instead of exhaustively scanning massive tables. Context is absolutely everything here. Take the word Florida. Can I take my laptop to Florida is strictly an IT remote work question. Can I take a vacation to Florida is an HR time-off question. If your query requires understanding that kind of nuance, a vector DB's scoring thresholds and semantic search are non-negotiable for fetching the right context. Otherwise, your AI might hallucinate and tell you to wear a swimsuit to your next client meeting. All right, Section 4, who is this built for? Matching tools to teams. So who actually uses these? Generally, the divide looks a bit like this. The vector DB side is mostly data scientists building RAG systems, or retrieval augmented generation systems, to parse huge amounts of unstructured text. Think massive employee handbooks. On the flip side,
GraphDBs are primarily for software engineers who need to map out explicitly connected user networks. We're talking the friend of a friend relationship webs that power platforms like LinkedIn, Uber, or eBay.
Let's hit Section 5, How to Choose and Use, a practical workflow. When you're actually sitting down to build your AI's brain, you need a systematic approach. Step 1, assess the sheer size and complexity of your graph. Step 2, figure out your query type. Are you basically running natural language semantic queries? You need vectors. Are you doing deep relationship traversals? You demand a graph. And step 3, carefully evaluate the specific latency and performance requirements of your app. Let's talk specific tools. If you're building a small to medium-sized app that prioritizes natural language, vector DBs are your best friend. Things like ChromaDB for local environments or Pinecone for cloud scalability are incredible choices. But if you're dealing with large-scale applications that need instant, multi-hop relationship mapping, a GraphDB like Neo4j is going to be vastly superior. Now, if you do go the vector route, the magic number you're going to see is 384. You'll be dealing with embedding models like all mini-LM L6v2 that literally slice every chunk of text into 384 distinct dimensions. This captures super nuanced things like tone, sentiment, and topic. But listen, you've got to be careful. You need really strict chunk overlap strategies, or else you might accidentally slice the meaning of a concept right in half across your database.
But here's a fun twist. You don't actually have to choose just one. Advanced architectures are now doing something called graph RAG. This is where you inject explicit entity relationships directly into your RAG pipeline. It essentially gives your AI the superpower to seamlessly connect different pieces of unstructured data, giving you the absolute best of both worlds, structural and semantic intelligence.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 6, the final verdict on building robust knowledge graphs.
So let's wrap this up. Vector DBs and GraphDBs solve fundamentally different problems in the modern AI stack. Vectors bridge human semantics. Graphs completely master multi-hop queries. Interestingly enough, leading database experts at Microsoft recently pointed out that these capabilities are increasingly just becoming integrated features within traditional databases, like Postgres. But regardless of the tool, the big takeaway is this. Remembering that the wrong database architecture will absolutely tank your performance and cause massive data inconsistencies is the key to actually building a robust, efficient knowledge graph.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. When you spin up your next project, will you build your AI's brain as a library of contextual meanings, an intricate web of explicitly mapped relationships, or some powerful hybrid of both? Choose wisely. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you in the next explainer.